Yeah, while Sharp has had some of his moments, he hasn't had as many as we were expecting so far. It does look like both the superstars, Who Are You and Sharp, have just shown up today, and someone has to get neutralized. We'll see if Sharp can return the favor to Who Are You now. Of course, OpTic Academy, they will be on the defense here, and they are running that Orisa combination along with the Junkrat and the Widowmaker.
Take a snapshot of it here. This is one of the few times that Sharp will not be on a Tracer, but, you know, honestly, his Widow is pretty decent. It is something that can be underrated. And of course, we've already seen the power of this composition earlier today. This can be very effective if you can keep your Junkrat protected and if your Widow is landing the shots they need to.
What's interesting here is that, like, now on the offense for Fusion University, a lot of teams do like to run either like a Mercy or a Lucio. Yeah, just to try and get that additional heal or the speed boost. But instead, Fusion University are hovering over the Ana. So, you know, that reads to me that possibly they're going to try and soak up some damage and then just nano boost Beast Halo on in with that Ana.
And the good part about Ana is that it can catch teams off guard in that regard. You take a lot of poke damage from the Junkrat, and that means that it doesn't take that long to build up a nano boost. So Elk could conceivably have that by push number 2, even if things are going really well for OpTic, and then just up to send in a tank, usually the Winston, as you mentioned, and go, hey, go to town. You're powered up. You make the disruption, and disruption is really all Who Are You might need to break things wide open in the back.
But without that speed boost, just to try and get across that lane, it could be so dangerous, especially up against a damage-boosted Junkrat. So you have to be careful, especially if you're one of the squishier members of Fusion University. Now, we do have a pause now. It looks like there are some technical difficulties, but we will get this match underway as quickly as we can.
One thing to note here, too, and you bring up the speed boost, which is a good point, is that you sort of have to wonder, okay, how much room does that give Sharp? Because, you know, the Widowmakers are pretty good at hitting things at speed, but you know what they're even better at? Hitting things that are moving slow. So you're sort of daring Sharp, going, okay, Sharp, you're not going to land these shots as we move on forward, and that can be a risky bet.
So now we have Alarm there, one of the many men of the hour, just keeping, of course, his fingers limber. Of course, he did hit up that hand gym earlier today. You just got to make sure you just keep it loosey-goosey. Loosey-goosey.
Oh, it's loose if nothing else, as he is just waiting for this next match to go into play. And yeah, I mean, right now players, obviously, they're stretching, they're trying to stay in game focus mode. Obviously, these pauses can sometimes go a little bit longer, but this is also a time where you can sort of talk about, hey, what are we expecting to see in this next match? How is this going to go down? And honestly, that extra time to reflect sometimes can play a decent role in the game when it finally does begin.
And one person who does want to slow it down was that man we just saw right there, Elk. He's got a wealth of experience, right? He competed, of course, in the Overwatch Pacific Series, where he played, I believe it was under Mega Thunder. So he spent some time over in, I believe it's Chinese Taipei, where they competed. Of course, going over NAEU, just all over the place now. This man is a very smart one, very strategic guy to have on your team, so he does afford them that option.
Elk not only has been a world traveler, but take note of the hair color that he has right now. I guarantee you that the next live event you see him at, it's going to be different. He just continually changes that up. Some might say it gives him his power.
Some also theorize that it's actually mood activated. So there you see it's a light purple. It just means he's in deep concentration, contemplative.
Can we convert him to a Winston player so we can sort of have the player cam? We can look at him and then he activates Primal Rage, it goes blue to red. If that's how that works, that would be absolutely fantastic.
We will see. Now, as these pauses do continue, we do want to remind you guys, this is the second semifinal match. We already have our first finalist, and that is, of course, Toronto, who were able to take that 3-1 victory up against Envision in a 5-map series, and that was nuts. So, lying in wait now tomorrow for them, for either of these two teams, is going to be Toronto.
And one thing that's worth noting is that Toronto is the final survivor of Group A. They were the victor of that group. They defended their crown against Envision, the number 2 of Group B. So no matter what, you are going to have that A versus B matchup, the best of one group. And of course, the second group, the best was Fusion. So it could be that 1 versus 1 in the end. Obviously, both teams making their case here right now. So it will be interesting to see how it develops. But the way the series is going, also the way historically Fusion has played, this does feel like one that might be going to 5.
Map 5, map 5. But, I mean, it is starting to get late here in Poland. These guys need to finish off the map first. But there's so much Overwatch ahead of us. I mean, after this series, of course, we are going to end for the night and then go over tomorrow, where it would be the grand finals for both our European counterparts and ourselves. And then we have a treat for you guys. The Atlantic Showdown makes a return.
Not only is there going to be banter coming in, certainly from the players of the regions as they match off, but we're going to be mixing up the duos as well, both on the desk and mid-cast. So if you ever want to see some good old NA versus EU banter, well, I got to tell you, it's going to be coming. You guys don't even know the half of it as what's going on behind the scenes. I think both regions are pretty proud of each other.
Pretty proud indeed. I mean, it looks like it's going to come down to maybe triple quad tank versus the good old dive so far, as we have noticed that there's a huge stylistic difference so far between North America and Europe. A lot of dive, and there we go. We've got him. Tridd and Dezachu out there in the crowd. Wave, guys. They are pretty fellas.
Well, they went out of their way to disrobe, so they were done for the day anyways. But now, if one of us faints, etc., they're gonna come up here like pure casual.
Maybe we just pull them up on here with the casting desk with us. Well, not the desk, excuse me. We're just standing now, and so still a pause coming out, and we apologize for this, guys, but we are just trying to get these issues done and sorted with so that the players can play at their maximum ability, because you know what? We have had some amazing Overwatch so far today.
So we have a report. It's unconfirmed and might not be true, but people are saying is that Who Are You gained so much strength from the hand gym, he actually crushed his mouse and they've had to give him a replacement. You
know what? I could actually believe that. I mean, the way that he is just having to swap between the Tracer and the Genji, who are very, mechanically inclined there. So now, once again, OpTic, they were able to tie it up in that last map on Hollywood. I mean, it was so close. Hollywood, honestly, came down to a few moments, a few key moments where it could have gone in Fusion's favor. Remember that one fight where somehow OpTic was able to sneak in second. That was nuts.
OpTic was fighting from behind the entire time on their attack, where they were lucky not to get full held at first, but Fusion could not quite put them away. And that's dangerous here in Overwatch, where you give up 1 point, it turns into another. And even though they weren't able to fully complete the map, it was still enough to give them room for a successful defense against Fusion on the flip side.
Yeah, one of the things that we've been seeing out of our North American teams is that they are able to slow down the tempo in this era of dive by running that kind of Widowmaker along with Junkrat. But it was the Widowmaker in particular by Keller that was able to really help them out now. But we are back into it, guys. It is map number 3, all knotted up between OpTic Academy and Fusion University as we move on here on Horizon Lunar Colony.
It begins. Fusion going to the attack here, going to have to work their way around this Widow Junkrat defense. And again, as you mentioned, there's no speed boost here, so Fusion, they're a little bit slow, not much pep in their step. But they are able to work their way underneath. But it's Sharp who got alarmed real early on. That's the pickup they're looking for, but Cracklacken, he's worked his way to the back, but they're not able to finish off the kill, and Cracklacken might end up getting demexed for good measure. But hey, with Keller down, it's not going to matter because the res is there.
The res is there, and we have Sharp just on the high ground, zoning out Elk. It is the sniper battles between these two now, and Sharp, Eagle Eye, is not going to be able to get that pick as 2 ticks do go over for Fusion. Now, with the elimination onto Cracklacken, they will finally push back Fusion.
I mean, hey, OpTic, you protected your players. What you didn't do is protect the point. That's a problem here. Sharp gets taken down. It was Elk supporting from afar, and now Fusion can move their way in. Zachary turns out the lights. The EMP is in, and Who Are You? So much room to work with here after that opening. This should be Fusion finishing what they started and getting point A.
A not even able to get that res off, gets instantly taken out by Who Are You. But as much as we have given credit over to Who Are You, we have to remember he's part of a DPS pair in Zachary. With a great backup of Elk, that sleep dart onto Sharp. They were able to clean him up, and then Zachary finds the second kill. Now they are moving on to the second point, but they don't have that same kind of snowball-y effect here. Of course, OpTic now has that rib tire.
Tire going to be potentially the difference maker here, but he used it so early that Fusion was just able to back out. The tire does nothing. Now Fusion can move in with a nano-boosted opening here. They have Transcendence to back it up. This is their window for an incredibly quick attack, although Sharp almost gets Beast Halo, forces out the Primal Rage very early on. Alarm gets on the Smurf, and Fusion now, if they can transcend, if Beast Halo can stay alive, this might be their time.
Sharp trying to tank bust here, but his team is dying around him. Transcendence is used, and Fusion University have so many more members on the point now. As the Trans does dissipate here, it's Beast Halo with the help of Who Are You to finish off Gray, and now they are on the hunt for more. Pulse Bomb sticks, he takes out Smurf, and now they are cleaning up. One tick already secured.
This is huge from Fusion University. The pressure continuing to build. OpTic on the back foot. This has been a lightning fast strike. 5 minutes and 25 seconds left here for Fusion University, and the pressure is unrelenting. The only chance here would be Smurf getting a miracle kill with Sharp, but Sharp is getting forced back. The progress continuing to build here for Fusion University. The EMP drops just for good measure, and this is looking like a rout in favor of Fusion University. They just need a little bit more, and OpTic Academy gonna have to hold the L to a very fast time.
5 minutes and 1 second left on the clock. Fusion University made such a great approach there. The Riptire came out, and that was supposed to slow them down, but Elk was able to clear it, and then Fusion University ran right back onto the point. It looked bad. Beast Halo was dropped low. He pops that Primal Rage and instantly jumps into the back. We have, of course, on the other end, Smurf jumping after him, and that allows Alarm just to poke him down with those orbs, and then from there, it all just fell apart for OpTic's defense.
OpTic, the only thing they had to make that fight work in their favor was the tire, and they simply used the tire too early. Fusion was able to back out with ease, and it put Keller in a situation where the tire would either run out harmlessly or you had to try and move it through with no time left and no cover. It wasn't great, it was done too early, and as a result, OpTic has a very tall mountain to climb here if they want to get back into this game.
We also got to see the strength of the Sombra there on point B, especially if you're already in the winning position as the offense. And so when the staggers start coming in, they have to come in just willy-nilly, and that allows Zachary to get the individual hacks on, and that's crucial onto Winston's along with Divas, because they're able to try and stall out as long as they have their cooldowns. But without him, they're not able to, and that didn't allow OpTic Academy to try to come in with at least a second body when they go in for the recontest. Instead, they're going individually one by one that entire time, getting cleaned up. And so now OpTic, they're going to be on the offensive end, and they are going for a full all-out dive. While Fusion University, it's going to be Zachary once again on that Sombra.
And there's nothing tricky about what OpTic is going for here. The plan is very simple. Dive in as soon as possible. Don't even give Zachary time to get those key hacks off. It's going to be difficult. Fusion University, I think they have a very good positioning set to deal with this, especially if they can protect Elk.
High ground held by Fusion University. Elk does have to be careful because, of course, he is an Ana, very immobile. He does have some defensive skills that he can use. He's already backed up, ready to just jump down onto the point if he needs to.
OpTic, they're not going to be waiting long, and they don't. They immediately dive on in. They're looking for Beast Halo, but he got Keller and was able to get on out. They heal him up just in time, and Fusion University bending, not breaking. First fight will go to them.
Now, we mentioned in their first 2 maps between these two teams that Beast Halo was a little bit of a point possibly of weakness for Fusion University. He got focused down so often, but with Elk swapping off onto this Ana has allowed him to survive longer because it's so difficult to output enough damage to out-damage the heal coming up from Elk.
Elk has been playing very intelligently this entire series. Who Are You, off the flip side, looking to play in high damage for a Smurf, wasting a lot of his time, ends up leaping out. Meanwhile, though, Alarm was able to get a crucial kill onto Gray, so Fusion still not feeling very threatened here as OpTic has to lick their wounds and try again.
And now Elk has that first nano boost. It's probably going to go on to Beast Halo here, so he can get into the back line, gives him extra survivability, with, of course, with that damage reduction. Keller hasn't been able to find much, but there it is. The nano boost comes out, but it's Gray that starts it off. Elk is gone.
Elk had to go in the line of sight to get that nano boost off, and in that moment, Gray sniped him right down, and this is the opportunity OpTic needed. The nano boost not nearly enough to turn the tides off of that early pickoff. OpTic sweeping in like a wave, and this should be a very quick tick. OpTic, although not nearly as quick as Fusion's.
They have yet to secure the tick, though, but with that elimination onto Who Are You, there's no one around for Fusion University trying try and contest that. And man, Elk just stepping just a half inch too far forward to try and get that nano boost. Cost him his life, cost him his team that point, which is really unfortunate now. But Fusion University, they do have the tools to try and slow down OpTic Academy. There is the Primal Rage along with the EMP for Zachary.
And guess what? You don't need to use either of them when Vol gets taken down from afar, was not able to remech, and Fusion just buys himself so much time and space with that one pickoff.
And Fusion need the time. Alarm, he does not have that Transcendence right now while Keller is sitting on this blade. And there's almost no chance that Alarm gets it up before Keller jumps in with this, unless Zachary can get a great EMP here.
And OpTic, they have to know the EMP is coming, right? So that's why they're being a little bit more hesitant to go on in. They would like Zachary to just use the EMP without getting too much from it. They would love for them to use it right here. It's where they could back out, but Zachary is being rather measured right now. He's not going immediately. He's forced on back, and now OpTic's gonna push the issue. Moving on in. Can Smurf run the range in time? Did he get hit by the EMP? Aid certainly did. He's not able to drop the beat. Smurf ends up falling, and the EMP from Zachary sets the tone. OpTic back to spawn.
Keller even uses his blade there. So we'll see, he is going to be swapping off onto Soldier 76. This is great because OpTic Academy, they were able to bank up a lot of ultimates. Primarily, of course, the Primal Rage along with that self-destruct. So a lot of tools that you can use to create space for the Soldier 76 if you're trying to grab that high ground for him. Now, Fusion University on the opposite end, they have a Primal Rage of their own. So Beast Halo does have the tools to try and dislodge him. Instead, they push in from lower.
They're going to open with Barrier here because they know it's not going to get stripped off. A little bit of pressure, they're going to drop the beat, but it's not in time to save Vol. Vol gets debacked before the beat happens, but the self-destruct was able to use that towards the very end. He's going to be able to read back, so they're still entirely okay. Sharp, lots of room to work with on the other side. Who are you struggling to bring it back? A support in his sights, but he's under fire. The Transcendence is out, and who are you? Can do nothing but wait as OpTic moves on forward, gets onto the point. Sharp getting that last kill, and this might be a quick time for OpTic on the other end. 90% to that, and they get it. 355 to 501.
We saw towards the tail end there, Zachary trying to swap off onto the Mei. He was able to get the ice wall, but the body block coming out, of course, from the Diva did not allow him to get onto the point with the ice block. He was trying his best to get there. He wasn't even able to use it. Getting taken out. The focus fire just too strong for OpTic Academy.
OpTic Academy. Fighting back, not quite with the same time, but certainly something respectable here. If you were the Tele-team, yeah, your first attack would take 4 minutes and 5 seconds. Most teams would just give you the thumbs up and be like, that's great. That is absolutely okay. So they get to go in the attack here once more, and frankly, it doesn't seem like they're going to be changing much up.
Yeah, honestly, the difference in time here can be negligible. Right, it's only a 1 and 6 second difference, so that does equate to maybe a push and a half because of the run distance here on Horizon Lunar Colony. So now Fusion University once again on the defense. They're going to go for that dive defense once again. Zachary on that Sombra.
And what you can expect to see here is more of the same, right? Where OpTic was pretty aggressive, immediately left on in. Not wanting to give Zachary that time. Well, expect another run back of that here. But OpTic, of course, would like that to go a little bit more smoothly as Fusion did hold them back for 2 minutes on point A the last time.
We're in the territory where this could feasibly go to some ridiculous scoreline like 6-5 or even, you know, 8-7. We'll see if it goes to that here. Both teams, they do like to play, you know, a faster tempo game, running that dive almost all the time. Keller once again on that Genji. Remember last time, it was Elk who was caught out. We'll see if they can jump onto him once again. Oh, it's Alarm that can take it out. Sharp is right there. They answer right on back. It's a 5-on-5 now, back of the point.
Alarm on the fast break opens things up here for OpTic, but Fusion, not without bangs of their own, biting right back in the moment. And OpTic, they're going to go back and prioritize the point. 5-on-5 here, Sharp going the other side. Beast Halo in his sights, he's so low right now. Sharp and Hawk pursuit, he's gonna finish off that Winston. Beast Halo out of the fight, Crack-Lacken gonna get demeched. Who are you? Trying to fight back the other way, but the tank game, so much more in OpTic's favor right now. They just need a little bit more to get this point.
The nano boost is there, but it's not enough. As Sharp is able to take out Who Are You, who was discorded. Second tick coming on in for OpTic Academy, and they are not relenting with this pressure. It's Sharp with a double kill now. Both supports gone. Fusion University have no sustain. They have to give up this point. OpTic Academy will push forward onto point B with 3 minutes and 15 seconds.
Well, your prophecy prophecy that things could be quick might be true because OpTic, there's not going to be any chill in this attack. They know they have a huge ult edge on all ends. 2 support ults on the way. A Blade in the waiting. OpTic's going to go right in. Why give the other team time? The thing they have to be afraid of, though, is that EMP. Gray needs to transcend before it comes out, and Sharp ends up dying. All that momentum just thrown into the trash.
We keep forgetting that Alarm's a thing, and he's alive, and he's on Zenyatta, and he will frag. And so with that, that slows it down, and that's crucial because now Alarm is getting that much closer to a Transcendence once again to answer for Keller's Blade. But they can try and bait out that Transcendence earlier, right? They do have that sound barrier. Maybe if 8 survives.
He does survive. By the thinnest of margins, he's still with us. Zachary, though, has yet to use the EMP. Both teams looking loaded for Bear. OpTic has to be careful here. If they use ultimates and come up with nothing, it would be just a gigantic fail on their part. But Beast Halo taken down early. That's what they were looking for. But you see on the other side, the EMP is still up and ready as this fight takes place at Doldrum. Who are you? Gets caught. Keller with a quick melee. Gets rid of him in the moment. OpTic now trying to take the edge. The thread the EMP is gone. Self-destruct, making room full. Remix safely back into the back. The Blade is out by Keller, slicing through D.Va, making his way on through, and OpTic real close right now to making this point their own.
Zachary trying to keep this live now. After taking out Gray, he has swapped off onto the May for the stall. First hit comes on over for OpTic Academy. They're trying their best to zone out Who Are You right now, and it's Smurf who takes out Beast Halo, but Zachary with the headshot on that May. We thought it was a stalling May. No, it's a fragging May. He takes him out. Fusion will go ahead and stabilize with 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock for OpTic.
Tracer had a headache, and the cure was 1 icicle right to the dome. She didn't feel anything after that. OpTic looking to reset here. 1 minute 20 left, but the key part here is that no draw is in sight. They got at least that first tick and a little more.
And Keller has since swapped off onto that Soldier 76, depleting a lot of the ultimate bank out of Fusion University. But again, because of just the raw power out from Alarm, he's at 50% towards another Transcendence. Elk is at 60 now towards the Nano Boost. They can close it out.
OpTic trying to get their way in right now. Keller with plenty of room. They're focusing on the Texans where they almost got Alarm in the back, but he's gonna get healed up. Zachary in trouble. Translocates out. Pulse Bomb delivery in from Who Are You gets Keller. Big moments here from Fusion. Now 6 on 5. Beast Halo trying to finish it out, but he ends up falling in turn. A bit of an overextension. However, as this was going on, you saw Bull falling prey to as much as save as Sharp takes a Tracer on Tracer. The issue is for OpTic, though, is that this is back and forth. Fusion's okay with that. Pulse Bomb out, gets Crackalack, and can they finish him off? Not sure. He's able to get back. Remix in just in time, and Fusion starting to put their foot down.
Full, he did receive that biotic nade, and so he did not receive the full heal. Who Are You back in the fray with the help of Zachary now cleaning up 2. They're going to deflect this attack from OpTic Academy. Time is running out. 3 seconds left. Smurf is going to try and get onto the point with the sound barrier, but it's stripped by the EMP, and Who Are You is there for the follow-up. The last kill is coming in for Fusion University as they put a stop to OpTic now. And it's only 48.5% secured for them on point B.
It is worth noting that that last attack was not without its merit, though, because it was at 40%. They did add on that extra 8%. And when you're dealing with these assault maps, when you're dealing with defenses that can last quite a while, that extra percent that OpTic got is not to be underrated. They could still very well pull this in their favor. However, the issue is that their first defense was not very good. They let Fusion walk all over them. Fusion needs only an attack that is slightly half as good in order to come in here and strip this map away from OpTic. So OpTic needs to play this first defense considerably better than what we saw before.
And feasibly, Fusion University at this point, you know, for the sake of keeping it simple, have 5.5 minutes essentially to take 48.6% on point B up against OpTic Academy. And so that's plenty of time for them, as, you know, the last attack only took 2 minutes and 59 seconds for them. So OpTic Academy is just going to enjoy some time out in the bouncy castle outside.
Well, sometimes you need that free time, but one thing that's worth noting is you don't want to slack off too much on the job, because the last time around for OpTic Academy, what did we see? But they ignored the point and gave it 2 ticks for free. Can't do that against Fusion University.
You cannot. You need to fight and scrap for every single percentage on both points here. 5 minutes, Fusion University They are on the cusp of taking the 2-1 lead. They jump on in. Once again, Elk is on that Ana. So we're looking to see Beast Halo is being kept alive. Already one person is on the point, but Sharp takes out Who Are You?
And this time you do see OpTic applying a little bit more attention to the point. They get the first 2 early kills courtesy of Sharp. And as a result, this is a better opening for them than what we saw before.
Gray taking out Beast Halo there. That's going to be the complete reset as Sharp. Oh, just takes the step down to take out Elk. Sniper v Sniper, it's Sharp that wins out this time.
I like to think that we saw Sharp in the back in between maps, just on the whetstone going, all right, we're actually getting into this, because he is looking much better on his Widow this round here so far. Fusion getting heavily delayed as they try and figure out how to get back in here.
Never a dull moment when you're on that Widowmaker. Now the dive comes out, but it was deflected, so Fusion University have to recollect themselves here, as it looks like Who Are You wants to make his way onto the point to try the draw on that.
And Zachary is also coming in around the flip side as well, so this is that pressure where he put Tracers over the point, and he got Sharp right to the head from medium range. Excellent tracking coming in from Who Are You, but can you do it again? Because Sharp had that extra life, and he almost does! Sharp in deep trouble here, but the tire out from Keller gets taken down! Alarm got it in midstream! As Who Are You still pressuring from the back. Sharp having most of his attention there. Zachary almost gets him, and OpTic is in disarray, just desperately trying to hold on. But Fusion, they need to get a little bit more.
Fusion did lose Elk there, so their push is basically stopped as they were waiting. Beast Halo was sitting at 50% HP, and you can't jump in that way. But the dive comes out, and they force out the Transcendence, and aid falls to Elk of all people. That's a huge window now as Fusion University start pressing forward.
And Gray dies immediately as he passes out of the Iris. Fusion University in a winning form here. They just need a little bit more. The question is how many ults do they need to do it? Beast Halo falls, but I think he was trying to save the Primal here on purpose. Probably won't come back to haunt him. Good ult economy by Fusion University, and this should lead to a full take of first, which means they only need about 50% to take the map.
And we've already got Zachary actually just proxying the rest of OpTic Academy. He's already forward spawn now, trying to get the hacks onto the packs to make sure that his team is ready. We already see on the right-hand side that Mega Health Pack is ready for his team now. Oh, take a look at this lyric play out from Zachary. Almost takes out Sharp, but he does have the pocket of 8 to keep him alive. Real cheeky plays coming out from Zachary.
Well, we also have a swap up there where that was no Sharp, that was a Keller. They swap things up. The Junkrat is gone. Sharp is back on Tracer, and Who Are You takes a bullet to the head. That buys OpTic incredibly crucial time here as 2 minutes and 30 seconds remain.
Still, that's just going to slow it down a bit. It's Fusion University who have all the momentum in front of them now. They've got 4 ultimates online, the Transcendence along with the EMP, and of course both tank ultimates. They need to get on top of Keller though. They cannot allow him to hold position here. Jump comes out, it's short for Beast. He's got the Primal Rage just to try and keep himself alive, but he's got to back away.
Keller had enormous potential there. Chunked both tanks early on, made Beast Halo use the Primal Rage quite early. Meanwhile, Sharp died in that Tracer v Tracer, keeping hope alive for Fusion. Who Are You? Darting in and around, looking for these pickoffs here in the moment. Falls out of the fight, and OpTic now in a little bit of trouble. The Transcend coming out here from Alarm as Fusion tries to turn the screws just a little bit tighter as Who Are You continues moving on, picks up another with Zachary. Fusion so close to taking this round.
First hit coming on in, and now it's down to the last 12%. Fusion University cleaning up with the members of OpTic Academy once again as the stragglers come in one by one. Fusion hack and kill everything ahead of them, and now it's Fusion University taking the 2-1 lead.
Fusion 1 map away from a date with Toronto Esports tomorrow. OpTic now facing down the barrel of elimination. Close stuff all around, but Fusion just a cut above there at the end.
And it's just that huge time make difference. I mean, I said it's only a minute, but the tempo at which Fusion University play, it feels like every single minute is an eternity when you're on the defense for OpTic Academy.
And that's where you simply can't give up the time that they did early on, where their first defense was not that good. If their first defense was like their second, guess what? OpTic probably ends up taking that map, but it wasn't to be. And now Fusion, the frontrunners, the team that won Group B, that didn't drop a series all season long, is now so close to that final victory.
Can they finally break the curse of ending it before map 5? I mean, it's looking like it at this point. Right now, they are up, of course, 2-1 against OpTic Academy, but still, it's still tough to call between these two teams.
Yeah, and, well, will it be going to a map 5? We're going to find out right after this break. Fusion leads up 2-1 here in the semifinal, looking to take out their rival OpTic one more time. And yet, can they do it without going to a map 5? That is a question that we face right now.
That is the biggest question, but still, it looks like it might. I mean, it's going back and forth. It's going to be Dorado here. And with Keller on the Widowmaker, this is a dangerous prospect up against Fusion.
Yeah, Keller has been very good here today. And of course, one thing to note though is that Dorado has been a playground for Who Are You. It is one of the very best maps to run a Genji in the game. So the idea that Who Are You comes out and turns this into his own personal playground, gets up close and personal with Keller, not that unprecedented.
Who Are You has been having one massive series so far. I mean, you just unleash the beast on LAN. And one of these young prodigies will shine. Earlier we saw Dalton, but it's been Who Are You throughout this series.
Who Are You certainly coming into focus here, and why not? We always knew he was playing at a bit of a disadvantage coming in from Korea, where he had those higher pings, where oftentimes you'd put on E-servers that were very rough for him, but here it's all zero ping across the board, and Who Are You has excelled given the opportunity.
What's not zero is our scoreline. It's 2-1 between Fusion University and OpTic Gaming, and OpTic Gaming need to win this map to draw it all out and send us to a map number 5. We'll see if they can do it. Fusion will be starting off on the defensive end first, and surprise, surprise, they're already hovering over a dive defense.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's not a surprise. Much like Lumerico Co., the best power company in the world, providing clean power to the citizens of Dorado for a long time, that's not a surprise to me either.
I'm surprised they still have that in your rider. Even when we're here on LAN, you still got to shell out. And hey, here we are now. We'll see if Fusion University can punch in their ticket to our our live final tomorrow up against Toronto Esports. It's just one more map.
Either way, this is going to be a good one. OpTic setting up on their offense, and as we were speculating, will be Killer here on this Widowmaker. So we'll see how much traction he's able to get when Who Are You is going to have lots of defensive terrain to work with to hunt Killer down.
Beast, Halo, and Kraken Lacken already on that defensive hold with the Diva along with the Winston, so they'll just be jumping up and down, cycling between the two of them. Never mind, they're just going to draw all the way back.
Yeah, they said, do we want to go full old school Envious versus Complexity? Maybe next time. They're going to instead hold a little bit further back, give a little bit of respect to OpTic, but if you're Keller, you really have to find your shot here, because if you don't, Who Are You is going to be on you in record time.
He's very wary, but now that he sees that actually both takes are far back, he's able to just grapple in Who Are You with the deflect right back into this. Oh, try to bait him out for that. Almost took him out. Keller now at 120 HP, but it's Beast Halo jumping far too ahead. They are able to trade it out 1 for 1.
The rest of the team wasn't ready there. Beast Halo was really far out, but in the aftermath, they're able to bring this back. Now note, the Resurrection came back in. Keller is back into the fray, and Fusion, they really don't want to stay in this fight too much longer. Crackalacken just barely able to avoid getting D-Mech. That would have been a disaster, and guess what? It still is. They chase him down. The Diva is going to fall, and OpTic now with some momentum on their side.
Keller has gone down again, but will that slow them down? No, Gray answers right on back. Zachary has fallen here, and here comes the dive. Sharp, with the help of Smurf, will be able to take out Alarm, and now they're on the hunt for more. Beast Halo is next up on the plate.
Fusion in full retreat, take a parting gift, bring it home. Beast Halo gonna end up falling here as Sharp continues his assault. OpTic easily getting through this courtyard with a little bit of speed.
Yeah, there's still 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock for OpTic Academy here, who I don't think Fusion University didn't even touch it. Never mind, there they are for the contest, as we do have the Valkyrie getting popped by Aid. Smurf starts it all up, Crackalacken down again. Transcendence is out for both sides.
And Fusion, they're really trying to bring this back, but how can they do this in this situation? Who are you? He's gonna try to be a hero. Here comes the late blade. Grabs one, gets two, moving on through against the odds. Will he get the mercy? He does! That's a triple for Who Are You? Sharp stops the bleeding, but the damage has been done.
The counter dive now coming out from OpTic Academy. They're able to clean up 3, but still it's going back and forth between these two teams, but it looks like OpTic have finally eked out the edge here as Vol will clean up Elk. But now the self-destruct is used. Crackalacken not able to get the remech as he is focused down now. We do have the respawns coming in from Fusion University.
And it bought enough time for Beast Halo to get back in, use the Primal Rage, but it's not going to be enough. Rage or no, he's taking on down Fusion University. They drop the beat, but the music is raging against the dying of the night. OpTic Academy going to be getting the last little bit here and piercing on through to the second point.
Can we just talk about that blade for a second though? Because he was able to go in, Who Are You was, get the kill onto Aid, and Keller, he tried to grapple hook away, right? So he grapple hooks into the air, but Who Are You just has the presence to turn around and know exactly where Keller lands. That was beautiful. They do end up losing the fight, but I just had to point that out.
Certainly, Who Are You knows how to deal with Widows, and so does Al. Keller taking a snooze. Right now, can they actually protect him? They do. Zachary dove in too deep. The sleeping was merely a bait. OpTic now able to move forward the other direction, and Fusion overplayed their hand on that one.
3 minutes, 25 seconds still left on the clock for OpTic Academy as they make their way through this. Now, because Fusion University threw everything at that point, a hold, they are in a deep hole themselves now up against OpTic, who have 4 ultimates online.
4 ults up for OpTic Academy, but how will they use them here? Sharp moving on forward, looking for the bomb, looks for Alarm, doesn't quite get the stick. Alarm was able to juke him out. Meanwhile, on the other end though, Beast Halo too far deep. The man advantage, now the Fusion. Now 2 OpTic. Fusion down 2, and this might be the quickest point me take we've seen all season long, as Fusion unable to get back in here in the way they would like, but they're still buying time. The nano boost coming on out. We'll see how this works out.
Transcendence was used, but it's not enough to keep Crackalacken alive, and what was that sleep dart? Sharp from around the corner, he catches it to the face. Who Are You will clean him up. Now the exchange will come out. Here's the blade, as Alarm will be able to pick up Bull. Who Are You now finds Smurf, and the 2-man army of Who Are You and Alarm will completely rout OpTic.
clean up on aisle 5. Who are you finishing what Elk started? He put an end to Sharp's reign there in the middle of it, and the cleanup was there. Fusion, they were in the fire. They're not even in the fire pan or frying pan at this point.
It can be so difficult once, you know, OpTic Academy get going like that to try and slow down the tempo. Oh, Zachary blinks right into the sights of Keller, gets taken out, and now the man advantage for OpTic Academy here. They have to be careful. They are getting dove upon. Who are you finds aid.
Who are you able to equalize that back? And oh my goodness, it doesn't matter if Zachary did a little bit of feeding, because who are you is taking it all away on the other end. Able to erase the mistakes that came up in Fusion. Holds on once more.
It was just a tactical bait, ZP. A tactical bait coming out from Zachary there. Now, he had no clue he was going right into the crosshairs of Keller. Now, OpTic Academy have been slowed down. They've got 1 minute and 20 seconds left, and all they can rely upon in this next fight is Sharp with that pulse bomb or Smurf to come up huge, but oh, Keller has been taken out already by Who Are You.
The deflection right back into Keller, but Who Are You? Too deep, he couldn't get away. He was stuck in a jail of Smurf's creation, and now OpTic off of that with the resurrection, able to turn their favor. Sharp ends up falling. Crack caught him on the other side, and now with Zachary off the flank, huge pressure coming in from Fusion University, and they still might be pulling this back. And don't forget how close OpTic was in getting second a little bit before.
But Beast Halo was able to use that primal rage to jump all the way to the back, take out Alarm, and the self-destruct is going to be used by Kraken. But here's another blade out from Who Are You, forcing out the Transcendence from Gray. They're going to self-destruct now to zone out. Never mind, it connects onto Who Are You. Vol also getting the D-Mech, but Elk answers back along with Alarm.
Gray with the proper response to Who Are You, Dragon Blade, you pray, but it works out in his case. It keeps him alive. The Transcendence working in OpTic's favor. They just need a little bit more cleanup here. Sharp looking for more, gets Alarm with the aid of Smurf, and they're gonna roll on forward through second. The hardest area to get through on Toronto over this Contender season.
Ooh, Beast Halo barely able to make it out there, almost got staggered for that forward spawn. Sharp will now back off as he calls for some healing from his teammates. Never seen a Tracer do that before.
Well, it couldn't be as bad as Genji, who is always needed. That's well said.
Speaking of Genji, Keller has flipped off himself. Zachary with the pulse bomb taking out Smurf already. And this is crucial, stopping the momentum of OpTic Academy as we move on to third.
That was quick, that was decisive. OpTic gonna get a chance to reset, but they're down to their final minutes.
Final minutes, but Keller has built up his ultimate pretty quickly. Even though he had just swapped off, he's already at 35%. Who Are You is ahead of him though. He's already at 65, and Gray is nowhere near a Transcendence.
And of course, that's because it got forced out of him in the last fight. They needed it to get into point B. OpTic slowly trying to work their way. Fusion gonna counter dive heavily with the Transcend of their own. Moving in, they got Gray right away. Zachary unchained in the back. If it's a tank, Zachary's hitting it. Get D-Mech here in the moment. OpTic struggling to fight through on the other end, but so much damage done early on by Fusion. Gonna force a reset, and we're gonna be looking at the final fight.
The big issue here, finally, Vol was able to reset. Now, with 15 seconds left, they still need to wait on Vol to get back into this fight, but OpTic Academy are starting to push forward. They do have Gray just trying to build up anything here. He's getting so close to that trance. He's at 71% now.
Zachary has a really good position to ambush here at the bomb. They go a little bit forward. He decides to roll in from the front. Doesn't wait here. Crackalacken gets him back, but Who Are You in the back? Both supports gone! Looking for more! He's getting everything he wants and more. OpTic taken down, cut down in their prime, and your ride stops here on point C. Fusion, hold them off.
36.51 meters, just beyond that gate, barely beyond that gate. All that they were able to push it there. Fusion University, they might have given up point A really quickly, but it was that point B defense that really allowed them to make up for that.
And don't forget, OpTic was really just tantalizingly close to having momentum that would have gotten them through point B almost for free. And somehow, some way, Fusion was able to grit out and have key play after key play across the board from the entire team to bring that back to make point B competitive. And even though OpTic got through in the end, Fusion had enough time to make the stop on point C rather convincing.
Well, that somehow was Who Are You, and that some way was Alarm. This duo, this Korean pair, have just been doing immense work for Fusion University. And that allows, actually, a type of stylistic difference coming out from them, right? Beast Halo, who has been very aggressive so far, who has been dying first in a lot of these fights, they're able to support him a little bit more because Alarm now is just pushing forward with everyone else. He goes ahead and uses that Transcendence to keep Beast Halo alive. That, of course, in tail allows Who Are You to thrive even more inside that Transcendence. They're just going all out aggression here up against OpTic.
And it's one of those things where if OpTic goes back and reviews the VOD here, even if they win, they're going to look at that point B attack and go, we gave them the opportunity to come back in here. And look, when teams are playing at this level, you don't give them second chances. You don't open the door. You slam the door and you put the foot on the throat.
Talking about slamming doors closed, Fusion University. They just need 2 points. And of course, 36.52 meters. That's it. That's it. They can end the 5-map curse. And of course, do it up against OpTic Academy now as the gates unlock. It's the full dive once again coming up Fusion University, but Gray starts it off. Beast Halo. You got too aggressive there, buddy.
He was far too in front of his team, and OpTic just said, yeah, okay, we'll just strike you down. No big deal.
Keller finds another kill on to, of course, that Zenyatta, and so now it's just all going over in favor of OpTic Academy here on the defense. No ground found quite yet by Fusion University.
Not quite yet. As you see right now, OpTic keeping control of the rooftops here in the moment, and this is quite good for them. Fusion waiting for the ability to dive on in. They're being a little bit more measured, and Who Are You almost getting blown up immediately on dive, and down he goes. OpTic with immediate response to that dive in from Fusion.
Now take a look, Keller now, he's also got that infra sight up. And so that will slow down Fusion even more. But this is the hole that we were talking about, right? When you were talking about I believe it was Envious versus Complexity, well, this kind of defensive hold with the Winston with a force Smurf now pushing forward with that nano boost will dissuade Beast Halo, who's dropped down to about 40% HP.
He feels powerful even when he's not angry, or so the line goes. OpTic feeling very secure in this hold right now. Man, Fusion, we were talking they need to get through point B. Right now they're struggling to get through point A, but the double team on the Smurf is successful. Who Are You has a blade. We know just how scary that could be. Holds it, goes up the other way, waiting for his opportunity. Beast Halo is down, but Who Are You still might be striking. Coming in off the other side, waiting to use it, and here it is. The blade is out, immediately gets Keller, and gets a little bit more. Gets 2, it's gonna be a clean 3. And here comes Fusion through the courtyard.
Gray, because he used that Transcendence and pushed forward with the rest of his team, found himself out of position that allowed, of course, Who Are You to cut through everybody, and Gray just not in the prime position to keep everyone topped off now. It is gonna be the first point going over to Fusion University. Now they're left with 4 minutes and 18 seconds as Elk finds a kill onto Smurf.
This is dangerous. You need to really solidify yourself as a defense here on point B and make it as hard as possible. You don't want Fusion to get momentum here. That would be the worst possible timeline for OpTic.
On the high ground being contested by Who Are You, and take a look at Beast Halo's position. He is on top of that courthouse on the 2nd story, jumps on in, and oh, everyone instantly turns around, but with the help of Zachary, they take out Gray.
Gray's down early, Zachary's not done yet. Both supports for OpTic already down. Fusion getting all the kills they need and more, and OpTic getting down to their final lifeline here in point B as Fusion continues to play the Symphony of Death at OpTic's expense.
That was just beautifully set up. I was wondering what Beast Halo was doing. Well, it was Zachary taking the long flank to get into the back line. And they instantly just dove upon them, took them out. Beast Halo now might be caught out. He will be able to jump away as the payload makes that final bend here on 2nd.
Fusion, they commit. The barrier out early. They feel this is their time. Beast Halo, though, under pressure on the other side. He ends up falling. He's down early. Keller got Zachary on the other side, and what could have been a good push is falling in tatters right now. And yet, Smurf and Gray are down. Gray gonna get rezzed up without penalty. OpTic, though, a little bit more wounded here than they would like. They have to invest both the self-destruct and pulse bomb just to get Fusion off their case.
With that last elimination, Crackalacken not finished off quite yet. They will go ahead and stagger him, force him to reset on his own as he jumps off the ledge there. They will be able to stabilize here on the defense. This is great. This is a great position for them because who are you? Well, he does have that blade. Gray was able to build up that Transcendence. And so now it's going to be very difficult for Fusion University to try and capture that second point with any time remaining.
And this is what you wanted if you're OpTic. You want to have the classical Contenders, Dorado point B defense, where we've seen so many games end right here. OpTic, though, they need to play around Gray, especially with who are you having that blade. Fusion biding their time right now, going for quality over quantity, which can be dangerous here at the 2-minute mark. But you see who are you. The blade is up. He's ready to go in. Here comes a dive. Beast Halo leads away, but there's the immediate Valkyrie. And now it's a good response from OpTic. Where's the Transcend? Gray waiting till last minute, but people are dying one by one.
Yeah, they are going to try and res this back in. Aid goes in. It's covered by the Transcendence, so they will get Smurf back into this fight as he's instantly jumping onto the back line now, is able to take out Alarm, but he will fall once again. Bull gets demagged. It's Elk that finishes him off. Krakenlaken with the self-destruct gets himself back into this fight.
Got the point.
Is trying his best to keep this alive. No! There will not be enough. There's no one on the point. Now, Fusion University, they've got 3 minutes and take a look. That yellow box of victory is not far ahead of that gate.
They have to hold for 3 minutes at death's door. Fusion on the verge of not only not going to 5, but finishing off OpTic and getting into the finals tomorrow versus Toronto. Here comes what could be the final fight. OpTic must engage now, but here's who are you? The blade to the back, looking for the finishing kills. Nowhere to go for Aid, and who are you's not done yet. Is he gonna get the other support? Has to put the blade away, looking for Gray. Gray fighting, ends up falling. Fusion getting the last few kills they need. Sharp, the last remaining hope, buying time, but it's not gonna be enough. Fusion University, we'll see you in the finals tomorrow.
Fusion University breaking their group stage curse there. Able to complete this out in 4 maps, even though OpTic gave them the run for their money. OpTic Academy can still walk away with their heads held high. Of course, having to contend against people like Alarm along with Who Are You, they went back and forth between these two teams.
Fusion's friendship with the number 5 is over. 4 is their new best friend now. And Fusion, of course, look, all credit where credit's due. They have been phenomenal all season long. They have yet to drop a series. And they're going to hug it up there? Zachary's looking for it.
I think Zachary needs to help out Krakenlaken. But there they go. They're across the stage. Now, both of these teams respected each other so much coming into this matchup. They understood that there were huge threats on either side, but it was just who are you, that man right there, bringing up the tail end of the Fusion University squad, who was just huge difference maker for his team.
I mean, who are you is basically an anime villain where we were seeing his normal form all season long, and then he goes, yeah, by the way, this is my second gear. This is my super form, as it were, and he played phenomenally all match long.
Him along with Zachary, there's some great Sombra play also. And of course, we cannot leave out Alarm. But to break down the action throughout these 4 maps, we're going to go ahead and send it back to the desk.